California is weak. Weak. I mean, every person over there is weak. So Robbie Topi, I guess, is up in the mix too, but
okay, I sent you some homework. That you failed to look at last time. I asked you about Michael Todd, arm wrestling, Eric Spoto. And before you give the answer away, you said, what happened? Did Eric Spoto beat his ass? And I didn't have the answer because I'd watched the video 2 weeks earlier and I kind of forgot. So I rewatched it, and it feels like Michael Todd is letting him, get in the position. And you said something that interests me. I want you to say it again.
I don't remember what I say.
You said something about, you said Michael Todd at practice is not the same Michael Todd is in competition. Like, don't get fooled by. I mean, he kind of beat Michael Todd, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Michael Todd probably lost a bunch of matches that day.
After Eric Spoto.
Michael's a good practice guy. He kind of lines up and lets them bounce on him. So yeah, you got to be very careful looking at arm wrestling tape that's not for a lot of money.
Don't be impressed by that Derek Smith match.
Yes. Yeah, just don't be unimpressed with Michael. The match that I just saw that you sent me was Michael Todd playing with Eric Spoto, is what I saw.
So you didn't? I mean, he titled it like bench press champion destroys world champion.
Well, there must have been more to this. Was there more to the video? I never seen Eric pin him, right?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he pinned him, and I think Eric was really having a leverage problem. Now, I'll tell you what I did see, though. Did you see that Michael Todd's joint lock is harder to, I guess I would say it's easier to penetrate with leverage than it is with strength. And all you got to do is put up the two clips, Eric Spoto and Derek Smith. Derek Smith represents a leverage difference at the bottom of that pin, where Eric Spoto, he had plenty of power, but when he's down there near that pin pad, there's a big leverage problem, meaning he's got shorter arms. That's why you kept seeing Eric coming off that elbow pad, just trying to get some more bite. But Derek had all kinds of leverage and length, huge length. So if Derek Smith had Eric Spoto's power, that was a perfect problem for Michael Todd.
Yeah.
Say Derek Smith's height and leverage and Eric Spoto's power. But the problem is that's two different people. Can't neither one of them beat Michael Todd because Derek doesn't have enough power and Eric doesn't have enough size and leverage.
Well, I thought it was funny that we talked about Derek. I didn't really recognize how good he was. And then a few days later, or how good he'd gotten, and a few days later, he's kind of giving it to Michael Todd. You're saying that doesn't say anything about –
I didn't see him giving it to Michael Todd. I just saw him not be able to pin Michael Todd just like Eric, but Eric losing his hand trying to. Derek Smith being so big, he wasn't necessarily losing his hand as he realizes he doesn't have enough side pressure to finish it.
Michael Todd says he was worn out, and that's why he wasn't.
Yeah, I believe that. However, I think Michael Todd has a problem beating Derek Smith fast anyway. I think that Michael Todd has a problem beating a lot of people fast. So I think that if he had a match with Derek Smith could take him over to 10 o'clock, get a good wrist curl, and Michael Todd have to work from there. And it's not going to be, it's going to take him a few seconds, 20, 25 seconds to get it back over there and controlled.
So you're saying coming full circle, you're saying Derek is closer to beating Michael Todd than beating you?
Oh, yes, 100%, yes. Way closer, yeah. Because Michael Todd can't take you out of your match. Michael Todd beats you at your match. Travis Bagent takes you into the woods, and then the 18 people jump you and rape you. Like, you got no chance. Like, it's horrible at the beginning. It's overwhelming.
Okay. Michael Todd is the current Wall World Champion, correct?
Listen. Michael Todd entered the WAL, and he has pulled 5 matches in 3 years. I pulled 5 matches in 1 month when I was arm wrestling every day. The current format of our society says that the WAL spends the most money, alienates the most people, yet the few people they have are able to be considered by the locals, by our community, as world champions. There is nothing worldly about the World Arm Wrestling League. Michael Todd is a little bit better in a 3 out of 5 format than Dave Chafee and Devon Larratt so far. But that's as broad a net as has ever been casted. So let's be completely honest. We both know about casting a big net, right? It's one of the things that CrossFit talks about. Don't cast a small net and say that whoever's in the net is the best. Make sure you cast it a big net. So
yeah,
the
world wide open.
Exactly. And listen, also understand that your worldwide open will be tainted because of these commercialized contracts. Contracts that are pussy in nature, right? When I say arm wrestling and pussy in the same word, it means that if you are a WAL champ, that contract can keep you from competing and letting us know how good you are. The same with this PAL contract. The PAL contract, you're not allowed to arm wrestle at all. And you only arm wrestle 4 times the whole year. Now they skipped a year because of coronavirus. So their so-called champion, Levon, has arm wrestled 4 times in 2 years. And one of the matches, or 2 of the matches, are with people under 230 pounds. And then the third one is Tim Bresnan. I mean, Tim Bresnan is not the best arm wrestler in the world. Tim Bresnan is in the top 75 arm wrestlers in the world. And he is in their top 8.
Tim Bresnan, hold on. Tim Bresnan, for the record, doesn't like Gary Roberts. So you're going down some territory. We're going to get some hate mail from
I'm just saying, these 2 leagues have managed to crown a champion and then cast the smallest net you could possibly find. And then somehow try to tell the rest of us who aren't interested in their piddly contracts that don't let us participate and don't pay us.
Okay, hold on.
That these 2 guys are the best, and that how can I arm wrestle Michael Todd right now and how can I prove to you that I'm better than Michael Todd? Tell me. Do I have to sign my likeness away for 7 years and hope that they give me a match with him?
That's what you have to sign your likeness away?
Every single human being that signs a contract with the World Arm Wrestling League is at a 7-year that they are involved in that contract in which the WAL owns their likeness, their brand. Yet is doing 0 to blow up your brand or your likeness.
Okay, I have to say something real quick, then we'll get back on that. What I was going to say is that when I came back into the sport, and I'm now doing my research, and I watched some of the Michael Todd videos, and if someone tells me he's the world champion,
you should tell them, no, I've been to the world championships, and I have yet in the history of my life ever seen Michael Todd at the #1 spot at the world championships. Nor does he own a world championship. He does not own any world titles at all, and very few legit national championships. maybe in the 8 or 9 range. And that's because he's sucking up on Leonard and Denise's titties back when they had a terrible organization. He won a couple. Michael Todd is not the guy. He's never been the guy. He's not the guy. Not to me. Not to me.
Well, I have on the Dubai Dream Team, I have Michael Todd. It shows they would have him go against Levon.
Well, easy now. Now let's just think that Devon Larratt is up in Canada eating mushrooms.
Wait, hold on. Before I get on that, are you saying I have 2 questions before we get on the Dubai Dream Team. Are you saying you'd have more respect for Michael Todd if he attended the is it WAF Worlds or is it other worlds?
I'd have more respect for Michael Todd if I didn't beat him every single time I ever arm wrestled him in the history of my life. I would have more respect for him. But I'm sorry that I do not feel that he has any more skills than anybody else who does not prove it. And in his defense, for the first time in my life, there are no tournaments that can prove that you're the best guy. There are no tournaments that pay more than Michael Todd is being paid, which he's not being paid because he ain't arm wrestling. But there are no tournaments. So, you know, he can justify his situation, but not to me, you can't. I mean, you just can't. Like, here's another thing. If you really want to make this Dubai thing awesome, wouldn't you think that a 16-man open tournament would be the way to go? Why would you put those 10 guys in place when as soon as it's over, they're going to ask about the 5 guys that won? Hey, well, why doesn't he? Well, let's see him and him. No one just, we're not going to have any information when it's over. If I beat Trubin like I can't even feel him, don't I have the right to say, yo, Michael Todd, you cannot beat Trubin like this. And Levon, the only thing you've done is what I just did. Why would we not connect right now?
Okay.
The fact
hold on. Let me pause for 1 second. Before we get fully onto that, if Michael Todd wanted to go, okay, who's the worlds? It was WAF when I was there. Is WAF dead? WAF still a thing?
WAF is still alive, but you know, Igor and Denise and them are trying to start their own thing. And
which one is deeper? Which one's the more?
Well, the WAF is still in charge because the IFA hasn't been able to throw a tournament yet because of the coronavirus.
So if Michael Todd called up Steve Kaplan and he's like, hey, I want to go to the World Championships. I feel like I need a WAF title on would they let him arm wrestle?
Yes.
They would let him go.
Of course. But he'd have to get off them steroids first because he can't take any steroids and go to the Worlds, right? So first things first, get off the sauce. Then he's not even pulling in the super heavyweights because now you know Michael Todd. As soon as Michael gets off the sauce, he's back to 198 Abercrombie model, right?
Oh, fuck.
That's just the way it is.
Unfiltered shit.
This is just public knowledge. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, you're not going to find Michael Todd hiding behind the fact that he is a performance enhancer. Okay? It's okay, right? We all get it, Mike. It's all good.
Okay, hold on. Back in the day, we didn't talk about steroids. We're allowed to talk about steroids like open now?
I say our show, we talk about whatever we want to. And I'm telling you right now, Michael Todd has never been able to, nor can he win the WAF World Championships. Can't do it. You have to be versatile. He can't win that tournament.
Okay, I feel it's only fair if you're going to address steroids and Michael Todd. I need to know your background. Have you steroids?
Never, ever, ever in the history of the world. I am all baloney and cornbread. West Virginia boy. I would never do no shit like that. Haven't you ever seen my love handles?
I feel like most of the world doesn't believe that. You've never used steroids?
Ever.
Ever?
Ever. No, I like to smoke. I like to smoke weed every once in a while, but that's it.
So as Arm TV, I knew my friends. I was like, oh, that's the question I never asked because I'm friends with these guys. So,
Yeah,
but
I don't blame you. Yeah.
I had feelings, but so just
one thing about me is if I was juiced up, I would tell you, right? And I think that other people should do the same. I'm saving it. Once I turn 60, I think I'm going to get juiced up. But why would I take steroids? I'm like Barry Bonds. If I take steroids, it ain't fair.
I swear I thought you did, bro. You're saying I did. I thought.
Gary Roberts. Well, listen, I understand that. I do believe that if you took a kid, started showing him how to arm wrestle at 5 years old, he ended up developing this dynamic and charismatic personality. Then he had these kids and the kids flourish. You would never think for a second that he could do all this on bologna and cornbread. However, that's what's happening right here. I'm the reason other people take them.
Man, I thought you did. I'm really shocked, to be honest.
Hey, I accept your apology, Gary.
But I feel like the internet
Don't ever bring it up again. Don't ever bring it up again. I accept your apology.
So WAF World title, clean, 2004. You're the champ.
2003. No. 2003.
2003. 2003.
Yes. Completely clean.
And were you drug tested?
Yes, twice.
Were you drug tested?
Twice.
And okay, so you're saying Michael Todd's admitted it publicly that he's enhanced?
No. I don't need him to admit it. I can tell by the length of the beard.
What do you mean? I don't know what that means.
The steroids push all the hair out. So the bald-headed dudes with long beards, they're the ones on steroids. Everybody knows that. Can you grow a beard like that?
No.
Fuck no. You gotta be juiced up. You gotta be juiced up. To have a beard like that. Oh, fuck out of here with that shit. Everybody knows that.
So, I mean, why wouldn't people just, here's the deal. With steroids, I kind of feel, the reason why I didn't care about the whole Ray Cody thing is I kind of feel like steroids should be like marijuana. It should just be legal. Like if you want to, I don't know if it damages your body or not, but if you want to do whatever, but we should talk about it. Like you do it. I agree.
I agree. Listen, if it was free, I might do it.
So you're as good as I just comment down below. Somebody out there doesn't believe it. I don't know how this is such a weird topic to me because it's like, is there some obvious signs like you would be more ripped if you did it? You would have I
would look like Jay Cutler and I would have a big long beard out the ear.
Yeah, okay. I'm still learning about it. I don't know anything about steroids.
I don't either.
Someone posted most of the top arm wrestlers are on steroids. Do you agree with this?
I believe that less than 30% of arm wrestlers mess with steroids. However, I think that 90% of the top 5% are all juiced up. Does that make sense? 30% of the total population, but 90% of the top 5%.
I heard Wall said they were going to drug test and then backed out.
Who said that?
I don't know. I just thought in the beginning days they said they would, and then they did.
I keep hearing that they're really close to implementing that. I have heard that, and I keep hearing it. So I think one day it will happen.
You would be happy about that?
I've got a 10 or 15% of life, maybe like 20% left on my phone. Yes, I think it would be great. I think it's the anything that anyone can do to make arm wrestling bigger, more recognizable in more homes will only help guys like me and you who, we're like arm wrestling media in some way, right? I know for me personally, I'm really enjoying doing arm wrestling seminars. I really enjoy rocking the mic and running the tournaments. So I'm completely okay with the WAL or anyone else giving me more customers. So blow that shit up. And I think it'd be great if there was a tested league and it was, super inclusive and everyone was welcome. But even if it tested, I'm okay with any capacity of testing because I think that people think it's a bigger deal than it probably really is. I think that the top 5% of arm wrestlers are still the best arm wrestlers when they're not juiced up. They can't compete against other arm wrestlers that are juiced up. But as long as Devon and Micheal both stop, they'll both be still competitive.
Oh,
You just can't have one of them doing it and the other one not doing it.
Do spectators like it? Like, I remember the whole Barry Bonds, the race, McGuire. They loved it. They loved the 70. They loved the home runs, and they almost like didn't care. They're like, oh, breaking records. They love that. Does the spectator not care, or do they care?
I don't know. I mean, I think the spectator who's not emotionally involved, meaning it's not his uncle that's losing or it's not him personally, he probably doesn't care that much. I don't think anyone would care if it seems like the guy who's not doing it always cares. But he came there knowing some of the guys were going to be on it, and he's kind of okay with it until he loses. And then it seems to be a topic. So it's interesting with that situation.
If you could give me I'm getting fucked by all these names, but if I could have two arm wrestlers, Joe and Bob, and they're on my wall show, in the one show they're clean, one show they're steroided up, is the steroid show better arm wrestling?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, unless the steroids helped bring out some confidence that the other guys didn't have. But, I think that steroids may enhance your personality. So maybe it could help you if you were having some trouble. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't think it's that big a deal. I think the problem will be, here's another thing. You could have two guys arm wrestle, Bob and Joe, and one of them's not juiced up and the other is, and it's a great match. So the fact is if the guy who wasn't juiced up got juiced up, it wouldn't even be a good match. So good matches, you know what I mean? They're hard to come by. It really doesn't matter to me. As long as if there's no steroid rule, then you better be ready to arm wrestle somebody that's doing them. And if there is a steroid rule, make sure it's a good policy that it's really true. Like the steroid rule at the WAF is that, 27 people are going to get tested out of 500. So the fact is you can take steroids, get there, win, and not get tested. So I don't think that's a great system, right? I personally know a guy who won the world championships and didn't get tested. And I said, yo, what was you going to do if they told you to test? He's like, I was walking out. I wasn't going to test. And I was like, okay. So
okay.
He took the chance and it worked out for him. You know what I mean? So if you're going to test everybody. And if you're not going to test, then stop crying about wanting to test. Just make it simple. I think you're a bum and that I can beat you every day of the week. Every day. And I firmly believe that there will be a day very soon where I'm going to crack that dude again. And all it's going to show is that every single time we have ever arm wrestled, I have cracked his ass. 57 times I have won. I lost one time when I was running a big ass tournament that got condensed into a piece of shit tournament. and I had to pick up the pieces and make sure the WL wasn't completely ruined, because that's what I was paid to do. Make sure that you have the tournament and don't have it be the bashing of Steve Kaplan Day. That's why Steve Kaplan gave me $10,000 to run the event, because he knew that if I was on the microphone, I could control the narrative, because I always do. And
Well, you're getting ahead of us.
Unlike most people, I wasn't that upset that he canceled.
You're getting ahead of the story.
Okay.
We'll get there. But my point is, Michael Todd said you and him used to be friends.
Yeah, our relationship has never changed. Our relationship has never changed from the first time I met him. So I'm cooler than Michael Todd. Michael Todd wants to be at the same level that Travis Bagent's at. That's what he's interested in. So he wants to be the same promoter. He wants to be the same public figure. He wants to be the same host. He wants to have the same money. He wants to arm wrestle. He wants all the same stuff. The only thing he has a chance at is the arm wrestling portion. And for some reason, he's not comfortable with the other things that I have that he feels jealous or upset about. I don't know. I love the dude. I think the dude is a good person. I have no idea why he is so weirdly unhappy and worried about me. But make no mistake about it, because he does not tell the truth, because he has never said, listen, I ain't never had to stop the real Travis. I ran from him and I arm wrestled him. Whenever I arm wrestled him, he killed me. Whenever I think I was good enough, I was too chicken shit to actually do it. So I watched Travis win a lot. And now I've figured out this move where I think I can get his ass the best 3 out of 5 if I drudge him out. Because of that, he has the confidence to talk all the shit that he talks. But if he was a real man, he'd tell the truth. I ain't never beat him.
So I have a question. You just brought up that one move. When I watched you, let's say that match in Vegas, which we haven't got to, but we're talking about it, and then the Crazy George, and you get someone over like this, and you're like, if you don't pin him right away, I'm just curious. Like, I've watched, and don't get mad, I've watched when John Brzenk is here, John Brzenk will, and he can't close it, he'll ride up into this move and then press it down. Mm-hmm. How come you don't try that?
Because I don't do that.
You don't do that.
So if you I don't do that. Stuck, I don't do that.
You just elbow foul, and like Dave Patton
said. What Dave Patton said was 22 years ago, for 1 month at practice, where I did not let them hold me 1 inch from the pad for 20 minutes like they do everybody else. I was a little smarter than that.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you're up against the Kings,
I do not have.
Don't you have to?
I don't have amazingly. No, you do not have to do that. You do just like what I did in Chicago, and you absolutely overwhelm him to where we got stopped in Vegas. We've never been stopped before, right? It's usually just me going all the way to the table, and that's what would happen if I was ready.
So in order to beat the Kings move, it's got to be early and fast on the go.
No. There's a bunch of ways to win, and different people have different strategies and all that stuff. I'm just telling you, Kings move or not, I am Michael Todd's daddy. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And it's coming. Listen, I used to didn't care. And I used to let him talk that shit because I know that he knew. But now there's just enough people. That get on my fucking nerves with this stuff that I'm going to have to flex. And when I see him, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And I already started hitting it. As you can clearly see, I already started from the traps poking up. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
All right, we need to get back on the story time. I believe you, by the way.
Story time. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
The last thing that we left off was you said, I told Steve Kaplan, don't call. Oh, before we get on, you said there were some things you wanted to go back on. You wanted to clarify.
I don't remember. What did you just say? What was the question here? I didn't hear you. All right.
Oh, before I go on, when I watched that video from that tournament in Vegas, you know what pops out in my head? Devon Larratt was wearing some crazy outfit, and I'm gonna sneak a little screenshot. He was wearing some funky, mismatched.
Did he participate?
I don't know, but he was wearing like pajamas with like orange, and it was the funniest thing. And I want to know.
Very strange guy.
He was in the back wearing some funny outfit.
Yeah, and
I'm putting it right in.
And he's the same age as us, but he claims to have all this legendary status. I think you're a freaking great. You're a tremendous promoter. You have.
I think you are making. I think you are making a great case for the future of super heavyweight arm wrestling. Here, of what can happen. I'm getting very excited. But
yeah,
back to the story. You said after watching that show, you said there's something you wanted to explain a little bit more.
I cannot remember.
You just started off today.
Oh, yeah, just about. I just remember you talking about Rockwell and Cooper Tires, and kind of the relationships were getting kind of skewed. So I just want to make sure that we go through the timeline again, right? So in 2015, I get second place in the championships, right-handed, first place left-handed. I proceed on through that summer, and I'm told that come September that I'm only going to run these tournaments now until January. Then there'll be a new, different format. They're going to start running these state championships. They don't need me. The money will stop. But I do have this severance package happening before the 2016 season, January to June, where I'm doing these Supercross events. The third Supercross, listen.
But hold on.
Okay.
See, this is where you kind of lose me, because when you say I was hosting a series of tournaments, and then
for the 2 years prior to that, we started the season every September 1st, and we ran qualifiers all the way until June.
And does that have anything to do with monster booths?
It has nothing to do with it. This is all 2013, 14, and 15.
Because I think where I get lost is when you start doing these booths.
Right. So that happens.
Hold on. And then you're like, some of the booths are just doing weight challenges, but then we had competitions at the booths. And that's where I kind of get lost.
Competitions at the booths. I don't know.
You said you had a bunch of Cooper Tire tournaments and.
Oh, yes. No. Never have I ever had a Cooper Tire tournament. Okay, ever.
But like these booths where you have people flip the tire or flip the you know what I mean?
The bumper plate?
Bumper plate. Were you also holding tournaments?
No.
At these type of functions?
No.
Okay.
But I was holding tournaments the next day or the day before somewhere in that city.
Okay. So I think that's where I was getting confused.
Of course. So let's get it going, right? So I'm running tournaments for the WAL up until January. It's done, right? I am no longer on the payroll. January 7th, we start these Supercross events for 19 weeks, right? I know in, 19 weeks from now, there's no more cash, right?
And Supercross event is just the tire flipping stuff.
The first time, it's the WAL, tire flipping, all that stuff. But remember, the first time we did it with Monster, the very first week, it was a disaster kind of until the end of the day. So now we get on track. Come week 3, the Rockwell people approach me, told me come to their booth. I say, I don't go there. Week 4 shows up. When I get to week 4, I got a couple buddies there. The Cooper Tire guy lets me in the back booth with some shit, right? Tells me they got a meeting they've been meeting about maybe taking my flipping act from Monster because they won't use it next year, and bringing it to Cooper Tires, right?
Yep.
So once again, that fourth week is Dallas, Texas. Rockwell comes back over to the booth again, say, come on, bro. I tried to hit you last week. Come over. Todd Hutchings is there. Todd Hutchings puts on a show all day. Me and Todd Hutchings go over to the Rockwell booth. Todd gets that $5,000 watch, right? All that good stuff.
For the record, Todd Hutchins put on Facebook.
Confirmed.
He didn't ask for the best one. He asked for the black one.
Oh, okay. The one at the very top. Yeah, I got you. Whatever. It was the best one, the one he picked out, right? Which was great. Whatever. So Todd Hutchins gets his watch. I go on a few more weeks with Monster. I'm working my way to about week 10, right? Week 10, week 11. By that time, I have met with Cooper Tires enough that I've confirmed that next year's Supercross in January, I will be doing the exact same thing with Cooper Tires, right?
I have a question.
Yes.
When you started, like you said, with the Wall Monster events, you said they started with a bunch of arm wrestlers. Over the course of those weeks, did they realize they didn't need a bunch? They just needed Bagent, maybe a few more?
No, they kept bringing them.
Okay.
Because it was part of their reach out program too, right? They wanted, and they had it in the budget, and they made the mistake of putting it in the contract that they would have 10 or 15 or 20 WL athletes there, including a couple superstars, they claim.
Gotcha.
So that continued. Now, the deal with Cooper Tire was going to be just me and a couple local guys that I had to pay, right?
Yeah.
A lot cheaper budget. We fast forward to week 10 or 11. Now I've had so much interaction with Rockwell, and I've already confirmed that Cooper Tire is going to let me do this again next year, that I tell Rockwell, I don't want to do the Supercross with you because, I have a better plan for you. But really, I couldn't do the Supercross with them because I had already confirmed that I was going to do it with Cooper Tires. So I tell them that what I can do is you give me $40,000 up front and unlimited watches and gear, and I will run the same qualifiers I did with the WAL, and we will, after we get your $40,000 back, we will split all the proceeds 50-50. We ended up.
Where would you run those when you told them?
I'd run them in every city that I had been running the WAL qualifiers in.
At the same weekend as you're doing these other events? Are you marrying?
Of course, anytime. Now, listen, it's going to be over in the middle of June, right? Because I got arm wrestle for the WAL. And then we would start up September 1st with Rockwell. And we would run those tournaments and not skip a beat. And Rockwell would know that in January, the tournaments would change to Friday or Sunday because I was working these Supercross events, right? So it was amazing, right? So I start doing all that halfway through it, right before Supercross starts, and I'm going to do it with Cooper Tire. He starts sending the cease and assist letter to Rockwell, right?
Okay.
Now, you have to keep in mind that I have already won the 2016 finals at this point, right? Now he's telling me, stop doing the Rockwell stuff. I'm going to sue you. They go into litigation. They decide to close, right? Then I'm back on the market. Even though I'm doing the Supercross events with Cooper Tire, I'm still allowed to arm wrestle with Kaplan, right? Because the Cooper Tire events, there's no arm wrestling. The thing with Rockwell was running arm wrestling tournaments, so that's why they were upset. The thing I was doing with Cooper Tires was just a personal appearance, and I'm allowed to do them, right? All they wanted was for me to mention the WAL when I was on the mic. No problem, right? Just to avoid litigation, no problem. Yeah. So I go now. I'm getting ready to go to the 2017 championships because I have just beat Micheal Todd, right? So now I've beaten Micheal Todd. I'm back to the #1 contender, back on the rankings as the #1 guy, right? I'm about to go to the tournament.
When you beat you're talking about when you beat him in Chicago.
Exactly, because they had taken me out of the rankings because I didn't compete for a whole 8 months. And you had to, or you wasn't allowed to do it, right? So whatever. So I am about to go to the WAL championships in 2017. But listen, I've got a great job with Rockwell starting right after the championships, right? And I've been running all those tournaments, made $143,000, right, in entry fees, right? Gave them back their 40, split the other 50, right? Like, this whole thing is great, right? We're rolling. Now I'm starting to work the things here. I then went out to Chicago, won that money. Everything's looking good, right? I tell Kaplan now that I have all this swag and stuff that, fuck you. You should have never sued Rockwell. I ain't coming to the 2017 championships unless you got a contract with me worth at least $100,000, right? So do not call me unless we got our money right, right? Unless you got your money right. He says, no problem. The fucking guy calls 3 weeks later. Leaves a message. So here's where we left at 7 o'clock.
Here's where we left off. You called Casey and you're like, we hit.
We hit. This dude's about to tell me 7 o'clock what the $100,000 job is, demands, this whatever. Can't wait. So I call in at 7 o'clock. As soon as I call in, I hear Craig Tullier's voice, Cobra Rhodes, and a couple other guys, and I've just put my head right down.
Wait, what do you mean? What did you call into?
I called into this little conference call, I guess, which I didn't really.
He violated what you said.
100%. 100%.
Oh, man.
So now I put my head down because I already know that even if I was going to get $100,000, he ain't never going to say it in front of Craig Tullier and Cobra Rhodes. No way. Right? So he says, takes him a couple minutes to stutter a little bit. Then he says, so make a long story short, we got to cancel the 2017 championships.
What? Wait. Hold on. Pause. Are you serious? I was not.
And this is May 1st. The tournament is in 6 weeks. This is May.
I am glad we paused before you told me that. I thought, what? Why Craig Tullier?
Well, it was like a couple people who he thought were valuable in the company. You know what I mean? So, Devon was on the call. You know, a lot of motherfuckers was on the call. So probably 15 people on there. So as soon as I heard it, I heard Craig Tullier immediately disgusted. And he's like, well, I don't understand why TV rights would stop you from doing what you're supposed to do obligation-wise and still supplying the money because people have already bought plane tickets and airfare. No one – it might even be a month away. It might be May 15th or something. It's terrible.
And I mean, I don't know if it's true, right? We talked about it. We don't know if he's a billionaire or not. But the entire community learned about Steve Kaplan, big money, So you've established yourself in this community, Mr. Kaplan, as the man who's got more money times 100 than all of us put together.
Yeah.
So we have, I'm sorry, a few expectations that like you would be able to
exactly.
fulfill.
I mean, listen, everybody's floored. Nobody had any clue. And he gives a story about switching production companies and the production company at the last minute not having some paperwork or I don't know. It was terrible. It was terrible.
We hope you like the content. Thanks for stopping by. Please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Now click that little bell icon so you get notified. This was Gary Roberts and Travis Bagent live.
Damn it! Do something else. Don't ever say them two names to me.